Question number 1, you are managing a portfolio that is linked to multiple business units and you set clear roles and responsibilities from the beginning of the portfolio to avoid delays and to enhance the decision-making process. An unanticipated issue occurred last week which relates to one of your team members missing to check the market fluctuating currency. In which of the following documents should you look to know which member was responsible of this? So you had an unanticipated issue. So it's not a risk. It's an unanticipated issue which occurred last week. Which document you should check to know who is responsible for this? Risk, roles, and responsibilities? No, because it is an unanticipated issue, so it's not part of the risk management. Roles and responsibilities are always being documented in the governance model, option B. The issue is related to accountability, and the accountability is related to the roles and responsibilities that are defined in the governance model. Risk, roles, and responsibilities may not be sufficient in this case because the accountability issue may not be related to risk. Not less than 6 to 8 questions in the real PfMP exam about the portfolio management plan components, especially the governance model and oversight part of this plan. Question number 2, as a result of developing the portfolio charter, which of the following documents should be updated? So I had the same question in the PfMP exam. Actually, a lot of ITTO's questions were about the developed portfolio charter process, and it's asking about the outputs. Which of the following documents should be updated? Now, the outputs of the developed portfolio charter process are the portfolio strategic plan updates, portfolio charter, and portfolio process assets updates. So the documents that will be updated as an outcome of this process are the portfolio strategic plan and the portfolio process assets, option B. Question number 3, while planning for risk management, multiple investment choice tools are used as part of the quantitative and qualitative analysis. Which of the following tools determines the effect of changing one or more factors? A direct to the point question about the investment choice tools that are part of the qualitative and quantitative analysis. The tool that will determine the effect of changing one or more factors is the trade-off analysis. You need to revisit this topic and the standard for page 1 to 7. It's very important for the exam, and this question is typical in the PfMP exam. Question number 4, another question about the composite index. What can you tell about the following portfolio health? Having the cost performance index weight is 80% and the schedule performance index weight is 20%. Work is progressing as planned or work is progressing better than planned. Work is not performing well but within range. Work is not performing well and outside range. So what you can tell about this portfolio health by using the composite index formula. The information given is the net present value, the CPI and the SPI of each component. Now the composite index, as defined earlier, is the CPI multiplied by the SPI. Now the relation between the composite index and the portfolio health, a ratio of 1 of the composite index suggests that work is progressing exactly as per the plan. A ratio of more than 1 suggests that work is progressing better than planned, while a ratio of less than 1 suggests that work is not progressing as well as planned. So again, we need to determine the critical ratio of each portfolio component, do the sum and then the average, and check the composite index. And in our situation, it is 1.08. So the ratio is higher than 1. It means that the work is progressing better than planned. Question number 5, multiple communication methods are used by the portfolio manager in order to proactively convey messages and engage the stakeholders at the right time and in the right manner. Which tool is usually used to visualize multiple or to visually convey multiple messages at the same time? So this is the definition of one of the communication methods. Visual tool that will convey multiple messages at the same time. So it is the dashboards, option C. Dashboards are an effective way to communicate multiple messages on portfolio status and trending at the same time. They can be part of the outputs of the portfolio management information system along with automated alerts. Typical question in the PfMP exam. Question number 6. As per the information given in the table below, which of the options represents the correct components priority? So we have 4 components, A, B, C, and D. The net present value of each component is given, the probability of entering the market, and the launch year. So, how to determine the prioritization or the correct priority of the 4 components? You need just to ignore the probability of entering the market. It has nothing to do. And the launch year. You will look only at the net present value. The higher net present value is better for the component. It is part of the quantitative analysis. Now, the one with the highest NPV is component A, so it will be first, and then component B, then component C, then component D, so it's option B. Typical question in the PfMP exam. Question number 7. As per the information given in the table below and given that there is a dependency between components C and D, component D should be completed to start component C. Which of the options represents the correct component's priority sequence? So we have 4 components and the priority of each component is given in the table, but the additional information here is that there is a finish to start relationship between components D and C. You cannot start component C, which is the one with the highest priority, before completing component D, which is the one with the lowest priority. So what we should do, we should start with component D. So the right sequence as per the priority given will be D, C, B, A. So it's option B. Simple question, and it frequently appears in the PfMP exam. I had it. You can use the priority given the table, and the sequence will be CBAD. However, you cannot start with component C, as component D should be completed first, so the priority will be DCBA. A typical question in the PfMP exam. Question number 8. You are the senior portfolio manager in your organization, and you were called by the CEO for a consultation regarding 4 components that you have the option to select one of them only. Component A was a suggestion from the CEO. Component B was recommended by the governing body. Component C was requested by the organization CFO, and component D was suggested to implement a regulatory requirement. Based on your experience, which component should you select? So out of these 4 components, you have been asked to select one component only. You will select the one suggested by the CEO, or the one suggested by the CFO, or the one recommended by the governing body, or the one that will implement a regulatory requirement. The highest priority is for regulatory requirements, so it's option D. Without spending a lot of time on this question, the highest priority should go for the component that will fulfill a regulatory or compliance requirement, and this is a typical question in the PfMP exam. Question number 9. As part of the periodical strategic management cycle, the portfolio management team is revising the portfolio and redoing the strategy management part. Currently, they are assuming and evaluating different combinations of components in order to come up with multiple approaches and take a decision on the portfolio structure, what is currently being performed. The keywords of answering this question is that the team is assuming and evaluating different combinations of components. They are creating different scenarios, so they are conducting the scenario analysis technique. Option D. Portfolio structure is part of the portfolio charter, and the analysis that you are doing is aimed to determine the portfolio structure for inclusion in the portfolio charter. Scenario analysis allows the portfolio management team to draw different scenarios while developing the portfolio charter. The last question. Due to market technological changes, your company got impacted and was urged to revise its portfolios. You are currently revising your portfolio to determine the required changes in the component mix. Which of the following options helps in assessing the capability of the organization to undertake the portfolio with its new strategic direction, and what's needed to be done? So in order to check if we are ready for this change or not, what should you do? You should conduct a readiness assessment. And a readiness assessment is performed to assess how ready the organization is to perform the steps necessary to bridge the gap between the as-is and the to-be states of the organization. This assessment determines the if, when, what, and how of implementing the change and points out any needs not yet addressed that are required in order to affect the change. So it is the readiness assessment. I had one question in my exam about the readiness assessment. So this section is very important for the PfMP exam, and I advise you to watch the section videos more than one time and revisit those 3 videos at least the night before the exam. I am sure you will thank me a lot while you are passing your PfMP exam. Good luck and see you at the next section.